Perfect. So we are ready to go. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon as well. Welcome to the Accelerating Funding for Diverse Founders, a webinar focused around mastering your go-to-market strategies. We are here with our host, Chai. She is the founder and president of Women in Cloud. This is an open webinar in terms of everyone. It's going to be a workshop, so feel free to come off screen if you would like to show yourself. But if you do have questions, please add them into the chat. If you would like to speak, please feel free to use the hand raising emoji in the bottom, and we will go ahead and allow you to, we'll unmute you so then you can go ahead and speak. But other than that, you can take it away, Chai.
Thank you so much. First is, thank you, Jenny, and thank you, Robert, for having us. I am Chaitra Vedulapalli. It's hard for people to say my name, so I'll ask you all to call me by Chai. And I know everyone can remember that name. And it's a fun name, right? In the sense is, if you want my fun attention, you just call me Chai. The reason why I exist is few things. One is to really help most of the founders to really build a successful go-to-market blueprint so that they can repeat and rinse on a consistent basis. I've worked with many investors, many corporations, and how they invest the dollars is really based on your go-to-market. So what I'm going to share today is really focused a lot on the learnings, and hopefully you can take something with you. Before I get started, I would like to see engagement. We are 16, 17 people here, so I want to have a really good conversation. Where are you all joining us from today? Put it in the chat so I know we can engage. San Diego, New Jersey. I'm joining in from Seattle. I am also a fellow founder like you. So all the challenges that you are facing, I'm also facing every single day. So we can literally have the heart-to-heart conversation on that. Philadelphia, North Carolina, fantastic. The second question I have for you is, when it comes to investor-ready go-to-market development, what do you want to learn? I know you're here. You're going to spend like 1 hour with me. What do you want to take away? Take a moment. The more people who are engaged, the faster we can really drive the answers to the dilemmas that you face. When it comes to investor-ready go-to-market development, what do you want to learn today? How to be investor ready? Beautiful, Kenya. I will definitely give you the answer. What strategies you're offering? Absolutely. I'll have that answer for you too, Gloria. What else? Marketing strategies. Beautiful. What's involved in becoming ready for investors? Yep, Farida, I will share that one for you, the principles and the details that is required for you, and also some templates, what you need to have. Lead conversion, beautiful, right conversation. What else? How to get started. That's exactly what I was waiting for somebody to ask me. Janine, thank you for answering that. Okay, so here are the topics that you will learn today. And the best investor we are suited for. Yes, I'll address that one. First is really understanding, what does go-to-market mean? There's a lot of definitions out of it. What is a go-to-market from an investor standpoint? You need to know. 5 myths that the founders encounter when it comes to go-to-market. Then I'll go into an investor-ready go-to-market model. What does that framework look like? What are the 3 types? What works? What doesn't work? What are the components of go-to-market and the key metrics? What are the metrics you definitely need to have in place, and some examples for you to kind of show you how to go about it. Then if anybody who's in the tech founder here in the chat, say that I'm a tech founder. I'll also talk about what are the 5 secrets for the tech B2B founder to build an investor-ready go-to-market. Because the tech B2B founder ecosystem is a little bit different than any other business model. And if you're there, I'll share what a co-sell ramp to revenue offer would look like for you, because that's the ecosystem we serve all the time. And also opportunities to gain access, knowledge, and funding. How do you go about it? Is that good? Is that a good content for you today? Okay, so let's start with the big problem that we face. When we think about the go-to-market, there are three problems that we are always, every founder is facing. If you go to the next slide, Carolina. The first one is most of them don't know what kind of stakeholders you need and what kind of alignments you need to do to build a go-to-market. Go-to-market is not just a founder activity. It has an activity with the investors, with your partners, with your customers, with your employees, with your extended communities, whoever you're working, you need to know who your stakeholder is. It cannot be done in silo, and most of the companies struggle with that. Second, the complexity of the investment planning and how do I do the ROI? What's the right number for the ROI? That's a second one, because go-to-market requires investment. It doesn't come automatically. It's not an SEO. You can just put in something and hope the leads will come in. It has to be thoughtfully architected. And third is unable to measure effectively. If you can measure, you won't get the investment for the second round. So you need to get all the three. And these are the things that every investor wants to know. And these are the three things most of the founders fail answering the question when they are actually raising the funding, either through an investor or through a corporation or even through a partner. So having this answer will be very helpful. And I'll show you how to go about that one today. Okay. So when you think about a go-to-market, here's the three components that you need to know. Next slide, please. It is really an action plan. So when the investors are looking for your business plan, the first thing they go and look at is your go-to-market, is your action plan. So in the action plan, there are three things they're looking for. First, understand who the solution is for and what's the offer and what's the value. You need to be very clear. So if you're selling, let's say, a healthcare product, you need to know it's healthcare product, what's the offer on that healthcare product, and what's the value it will bring into your audience. That has to be very streamlined. And audience, you have to go to a level, is say, oh, this company, this director. No, it has to be at a level that in this company, the director, her name is Emily, she's 35 years old, and she uses this health product to solve this problem. It has to be that clear in your go-to-market. So that means your audience profiling and understanding what the audience. The second thing they look for is what are you activating from a distribution engine, where the customers are participating and engaging with. What are those distribution channels you are? Instagram is not a distribution channel. It is just a socket to drive the visibility. But what is that distribution engine you're looking for? And third one is, what are the marketing plays and sales plays that will help your prospect find you and also become customers with ease? That means the marketing plays means they're interacting with you. It can be a contest, it can be a sales conversation, or it can be an event. Those are very specific sales and marketing plays you have to define, and it has to be on a quarterly basis. So anytime you are looking every single day, you say, oh, those are the three activities I will be doing in this quarter, and this is how I'm executing, and this is what I'm measuring. So it kind of takes the stress. So you're not in front of the LinkedIn or social or anyone asking your team, is like, how do I do this? Why are the leads are not coming? If you don't have the right marketing plan, the sales play, you don't really see the right output from a go-to-market. So here are the 5 myths most of the majority of the founders struggle to conquer. First is, if you build it, they will come. Not really. Customers don't come. You have to attract them. You have to create the offer. You have to engage them. You have to do minimum 7 to 21 touches before they say, oh, I trust you. I think you are listening to me. You see me, you know, you can have a solution to solve my dilemma or a problem. Second, one size fits all. No, the go-to-market has to be very catered to an audience specific. So you have to be extremely aware what your go-to-market looks like. Initial go-to-market strategy is set in stone. Not really. You can change based on the market data. The founders, when they go to the investors, they only write the go-to-market strategy. That's it for a fundraising. They never update it. You need to keep that one. It's a living, breathing action plan. Immediate ROI is a must. Not really. That is the biggest myth. Most of the investors are looking for a long-term play. They're looking for how you're executing in the market. And then marketing alone drives go-to-market success. It's not true. You need to have the value offer, like the offer. You need to know your distribution. You need to have the marketing and also the sales play. Based on these 5 myths, which of the myths are you basically struggling to conquer? Put it in the chat for me. Of all the 5, if you don't have one, put in your own myth. I want to know what that myth you're dealing with and you're trying to conquer. Absolutely, we will get you the slides. Okay, of the 5 myths, you can put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whichever resonate. Which are the one you're trying to conquer today? What's the biggest dilemma that you're dealing with as a founder? ROI, absolutely. Gloria, you have a liberty to be free of that myth today. You don't have to create an immediate ROI. You have to create an ROI, and it's a journey that you create. Very well said. Resonates with the strategy is set in stone. Absolutely. It is not. Go-to-market is a living, breathing document. It changes every day, sometimes every week, sometimes every month. But the more you become seasoned in building your go-to-market and the more time you put in go-to-market, your company will see the success automatically. And also it removes the stress from you. One size fits all, absolutely. So here is the permission I'm going to give you. You don't have to be abide by these myths. And you get to create your own history, your own narrative going forward. So you have a liberty to go and transform your company. So here's my promise today. The things that I will share with you will be things that you will take away, and it will drive 3 things for you as you go build your go-to-market. First, it will help you drive the visibility. Next slide, please. So it is really about how do you drive increased brand visibility, because the go-to-markets, I would say the mantra of doing the right go-to-market, it has to increase your brand visibility. Without brand visibility, nothing happens. Second, you're going to create a predictable deal flow. That means your demand is coming on a consistent basis. You know which channels, which distribution, and your sales conversions are consistent. So that is the vision for your go-to-market. If you do those 3 and you tell your investors that our go-to-market drives these 3 things, is driving a consistent, brand visibility, predictable demand flow, and our sales conversions are consistent. You ask for $10 million, you're going to get the money. If you ask for $100 million, you'll get the money, because this is what an execution of a founder looks like. And if you get those 3 things in order, I bet you can be a $1 billion company business owner. You will be the unicorn, okay? Okay, going to the next one. So based on all the work we have done, here's what I have watched, 1,000+ companies who have secured investments. They have gone through a lot of churn, and I get to spend time in reviewing their go-to-market. That's why we are invited in those conversations. Here are some things that the investors care about. So next slide, please. This is what you really need to know. What does that investor-ready go-to-market looks like? What is that investor looking for? So here are the top 5 principles that they actually care about. First, the investment is really aligned to the mindset and philosophies. If you can make sure that you're aligned to their mindset, if they are long-term, then you need to think long-term. If you do short-term, it's a wrong philosophy. It's a very important that they care about the product, they care about your audience, and they care about the outcome. And they also care about how you want to approach. So always look for investment that drives the mindset and philosophies that align to you. Second, return on investment has to be predictable. And they are expecting 5x ROI, which is a minimum expectation of a founder. It's not 20x, it's not 100x. I've seen founders go crazy that, oh, my investor is asking for 100x. That's not possible. It's 1 in a billion or 1 in a million can drive a 100x ROI. But when you're starting, it doesn't. Start with 1x, 2x, 3x, 5x. If you do 5x, you are having a steady profitability in your company and you're really driving the right outcomes. The go-to-market plan was extremely crisp and focused. They knew exactly what the founders were doing. Every time they went and met with them, they knew that they were making the adjustment on that go-to-market plan instead of every time you go say, oh, we are changing our social media plan. Oh, we are changing our LinkedIn plan. It's not. They were saying is the go-to-market plan, what we did and how we did it and how we are tweaking and what we are changing. So that one was very crisp and focused. Our funding came from multiple sources. The money came from corporation, from the partners, from the investor. Everyone was contributing to the growth of the company and the idea. So if the only funding came from investors, usually it's a red alert that you're not good with your stakeholders and you're not aligning with the stakeholders. And the last one is the customer offer is so irresistible that even the investor wanted to share that offer with the ecosystem because they could spot those customers in their network because they come with a very strong Rolodex. Is that helpful for you? Of these 5 hard principles, which principle do you think resonated with you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put it like in the chat for me. Which of the number 2? Fantastic. Cheryl, really focus on like 5x ROI. You are golden. Like you will get the money. Number 2, fantastic. Number 1, excellent. Beautiful. Excellent. Number 4, beautiful. Okay. So then what does it take to become an investor ready? Go to market mean. What does that mean? What are the things that goes into an investor ready? First, the 5x ROI expectation must be met 100 times. Every dollar that is invested in your go-to-market should drive 5x in sales revenue. If you can't do that, don't even go to the investor because they will grill you 100 times and you will fall apart with the funding. Even Janine can talk about it because they are also investors. So that is minimum expectation you have to fill. If you go above 5x, trust me, you'll get the money. But get to the minimum 5x ROI. Talk that language. Show them that how you're driving to that 5x ROI. Second is precision scorecard and outcomes. You need to have anywhere from 5 to 15 metrics you're tracked on a monthly basis to know you're on track or you're off track from your go-to-market. It can be your customer acquisition numbers, your deal flow numbers, your event number, whatever those metrics that work for your business, make sure you have 5 to 15. For our organization, Carolina is there, we have literally 16 metrics. But out of that, there's 7 metrics we look at on a weekly basis and we say, yep, we are on track. Nope, we are off track. Gives everybody a very high confidence that we are executing really well. If you don't have it, usually the investors know you will not be very good with their money. And the chances of you not getting the money is very, very high. So always lead with a precision scorecard and outcomes. Number 3, the distribution, marketing, and sales play. You are very clear on what those areas are because most of the founders confuse marketing and distribution as the same thing. They are 2 different things. They are 2 different experiences that you're creating. Distribution is how you go and get your customer, and the marketing plays, how are you using the marketing play within the distribution engine to attract your customer. So you should have a clear understanding how your customer ready offers are distributed and how they're interacting with marketing and sales play. So in the distribution is your sales like customer offer. It has to be very tangible, very clear. And offer is when the customer knows, oh, I have the price, the value, I can take action right away. And from there, they want to have a bigger deal or they want to invest in your technology or your product. Those are all extensions of it, but it always starts with an offer. Of the 3 things that you saw, which one really said, like, I have it? Which one of the 3 you really have it for your business? 1, 2, 3. Which one do you have? you're meeting with the 5X. Number 3, beautiful Cheryl, appreciate you sharing it. 3, love it that you already have that. What else? We have like 20 people. I think we can have more engagement. If you don't have any, just say, I don't have any. We need to work on it. Absolutely. Number 2. Excellent. Anyone else? Going once, going twice. I have to do work. Absolutely. Now that you know what an investor-ready go-to-market looks like, it's good. So what are the components of an investor-ready go-to-market? Usually it takes anywhere from 1 week to 3 weeks to build your investor-ready go-to-market. It doesn't take a lot, but this is a very focused activity that a founder has to do. This is for the viability and sustainability of your company. If you don't do it, you will be decimated in the current economic condition. It's just what it is. So there are 4 components. First, you need to have a go-to-market strategy. You need to know your audience, which industry you're operating, what's your solution, what's your product, what's the pricing, what's the offer. Most of the companies don't have an offer, but they have pricing, but they cannot create offers. So you need to have an offer. And then end-to-end scorecard metrics, the precision scorecard metrics, you need to have that. That usually will take time, and sometimes it takes 3 days, sometimes it takes. But if you're in business, you should have a go-to-market strategy. The second one, you need to always be very clear, what is your distribution channel? Are you doing direct? If it's direct, are you doing website or a seller-driven? So website is people are coming to your website and they're buying, or if it's a seller-driven, you have a salesperson, it's driving. I always say, if you're new to a business, you are the seller, you have to sell to the customer. The second scenario is the indirect channels. These are marketplaces, a distributor, reseller. This takes a lot of time to get ready because it's an indirect channel requires you to have an offer. They will not experiment with you if you don't have an offer. If you say, I have a product, the first question they say, what's the offer to my ecosystem? What are you going to give my ecosystem? What discounts can they get? What kind of special pricing? If you have not done your direct channel right, then indirect channel will become very, very difficult. The third area is the marketing place, and those are very specific 2 things you're doing: brand visibility, and second is a demand generation. How are we creating the demand, and how are you creating the brand visibility in the ecosystem? And the last one is the sales play, is sale conversion. How are you driving conversion? And what are your greenfield accounts? These are new big accounts. These are your dream accounts you want to acquire. What are those? So you need to have all those pieces on a single place. And I'll show you, Rosalind, what that looks like from an offer standpoint. Okay. If you go, let me give you an example. If you go to a retail store, when you're picking up a dress, the dress says $200. And you say, boy, that's too expensive. But the offer says, if you buy this one, we'll give you, there is a special sale happening today, and it's going to be 60% off. Trust me, you'll buy that dress because it's your dream dress. You want it. Because it's 60% off, you will go from your house to that store to pick it up. Why? Because it was your dream dress. And the offer is what? 60% off. Rosalind, does it help? The price is price, but the offer made it enticing to accomplish or acquire your desire. That's what is the offer. It can be a discount, it can be a bundling, it can be a special set of resources you can provide. You still pay the same price, but you also get special benefits like red carpet experience or movie tickets, or maybe a game night ticket, whatever that you can put in. It's a very specific offer, which really augments in for a different industry or customer ecosystem. Is that good? Perfect. Okay, now let's go to the next slide, is the framework. The framework you need to remember for the investor-ready go-to-market is your ROI triangle. Every time you're working on your go-to-market, always remember the ROI triangle. The ROI stands for, R stands for ready to take action. making sure you leverage 3 types of go-to-market, which I'll share in depth so that you can actually see what that looks like. So always remember the ROI needs to be there. Second, you need to have a quarter by quarter plan. You don't need to boil the ocean. It doesn't have to be monthly. Always plan your go-to-market by quarter and focus on 1 to 3 offers. When you're starting, always have 1 offer. If you get comfortable, then go with 2 offers and see what happens. Second, always drive outcomes. Outcome focused, don't do anything, and not a single dollar spent if there is no outcome. So you build your scorecard and then you measure it every week to see if the dollar that you're investing is actually turning to the outcome you see. So for example, if you have an online product on your store, if you say is, I want to drive 100 sales of that product, all the tactics that you're doing for driving the sales, 100 sales on that product, if it's not working, then stop that. You have the liberty to do it and make sure you have a laser focused in your execution. Third one is investment acceleration. The I part of the ROI is don't waste the investor dollars. They're not giving you the money to waste it. They're giving money to multiply. So always be a fiduciary responsible when it comes to investor, and also do meaningful marketing and sales plays so that when they see it, they look at it as like, oh, you're a very seasoned executive. And if you don't have it, work with seasoned go-to-market specialists who can help you with getting all your pieces in play. So here are 2 important documents you need to have. So these are the 2 documents I always say when you're, next slide, please. Every investor will ask, and one is an elevator pitch of your stuff, and second is your 1-page go-to-market. And I'll give you all the examples of how to think through it. Is that good? Are you getting value, or you feel like I'm just talking? I'm like, I don't know what she's talking about. Tell me, where do you stand? You like it? You feel like you're learning something new? Yes, yes. Okay, perfect. Excellent. So first one, this is your magic slide. This is a slide, if you have it. The next slide, please, Carolina. This is the one. You need to have your company name and your offer, whatever the solution offer is. You need to have your elevator pitch. You need to have your solution overview. You need to have your biz benefits for why this solution. What are the qualifying questions you need to ask your customer? The target audience, who are they? The deal data, like what is the kind of things that what your average deal size is, average sales cycle is, what are the professional services you can add, and all the links that you can put in for people to find it. It can be a customer ready offer, it can be a customer ready deck, one single slide. And then you have your company name, awards and certification, contact information. This looks very easy when you see it, but when you're doing it, trust me, you'll pull your hair apart. I've done this one with many founders. It is the hardest thing to do, but when you do it, I'm telling you, it's like breakthrough. Every founder would say, if you can do that, you are very focused in executing. If you take this one and you put it in 10 slides, they'll say, well, you can't focus. So this is how they assess, can you focus everything on single slide to tell the story? Okay, that is a very critical. Do you need to create one of these for each of your offers? I would recommend, Cheryl, it will be a good thing for you to create it, but it's really up to you. Start with one. If you feel like it's adding value, absolutely. If it's not adding value, then you don't have to, but try with the first offer, okay? The second one is the 1-pager go-to-market. This is the one, it talks about what's the campaign, what's the budget, when is the in-market timelines, what's the objective of that go-to-market, what are the components of the campaign you need, what are the solution areas that you are thinking about, what's the pipeline impact going to be in 6 months, MQL and SQL. MQL is marketing qualified leads, SQL is sales qualified leads. If you're talking that language, trust me, this investors are like, they know what they're talking about. Incremental impact. What is the incremental impact. This is the one go-to-market page that I've created for the tech ecosystem. So I'm sharing that. It can be the same thing for your e-commerce business or consulting business. It's just the numbers or the acronyms you use will be different. And then you do an ROI analysis, because this is what the investors are looking for. When they sit with you, say, okay, you invested $50,000. Tell me, what are the plays that you did? What are the components? Was the pipeline impact you predicted for 6 months, 9 months? What's the incremental impact you saw? And what's the ROI? If your ROI analysis is less than 5x, what do you mean? They know that you can't execute a go-to-market. If it's over 5x, what do you mean? They say, I have another 100,000. Let's pump more money into that go-to-market. Is that good? Helpful? These are 2 simple documents, but takes a lot of work and thinking to do. Okay, now let's go through, how do you go about the type? How do you figure out what's the go-to-market type? There are 3 types of go-to-market. One is founder-led. The founder is leading with their story to lead the sale. So most of the content, when a founder stands on a stage and they're talking about it, or you go to their website, you can say, oh, they are leading the story, and that story is connecting with the audience, and that is leading to the sale. You can do that. You can use that tactic. Second is, it's a product-led. The product is creating the value, and that is leading the sale in the market. It's called as PLG, product-led growth model. And the third one is a co-sell-led. That means it's an integrated offer that lead the sale. So you and another company coming together and then selling together. It can be also called as partnership-led, but I call it as co-sell-led because both of them are incentivized to sell and create the net new revenue or conquer the market. So those are your 3 types. Always say, if you're new to the market, start with a founder-led. If you have seen 5x ROI, then go into product-led. If you see 5x ROI, go to the co-sell-led. It's a very simple, gradual process. The next one is the distribution channels. So once you know which type it is, which distribution channels you should be using. Start with direct channel, which is your direct sales, online stores, and digital marketing. Make sure your digital marketing that means you have an email subscriber list, not LinkedIn, not social, it's your email subscriber list. If you don't have 5 to 10,000 people in your digital marketing subscriber list, you really don't have a distribution. You can say I'm doing advertising. It doesn't really work. The digital marketing, the investors are looking how many subscribers you have. So your website, the social, the advertising, the video, every activity needs to drive for you to secure a subscriber list. The email list is the gold, I would always say, for marketing. If you have that, you are doing pretty good. If you have online stores, you can run offers and it can drive. And even for online stores to drive conversion, you need your subscriber list. Direct sales, you still need the subscriber list for the seller to pick up the phone and call them and send email. Is that good? That's your first distribution channel. That's the sales route. The second one is the indirect channel. It's an online marketplace. You're working on like Etsy's or Microsoft Cloud Marketplace or AppSumo or any kind of marketplace. This is third-party marketplaces. You are there. Always say, once you get your founder-led done, then go into your indirect channel because you already know the offer and you can put the offer in. Once the online marketplace is good, then you work with the distributors and resellers and value-added resellers in the channel. Don't start with indirect channel, otherwise they will spin you and you will not know where it is. Investors are coming to our ecosystem and saying, are they doing the right go-to-market or they're not doing the go-to-market? This kind of helps you kind of figure it out, okay? Number 3 is your, the marketing and sales play ideas. Like we have identified 40 plus ideas that help the audience to get engaged. So these are your 4 areas and you are going to create this particular one for your team. Brand building. What are the kind of activities you can do brand building? Usually it's surveys and research, thought leadership blog, press and media. It's usually for brand building. Be very clear why you're doing a brand building as part of your go-to-market. The more the investors see that you're doing the right brand building, they know you as a founder care about the brand, not just about the sale. Always have one line item on the brand building. Every quarter, you're doing something cool. Second is demand generation. It's usually events and workshops, pitch challenges, hackathons. These are usually for demand generation. So those are kind of the ideas. Sales conversion is usually nurture campaigns. That's where you give discounts, you give them special coaching access, whatever. It's a nurture campaign. Value-based pricing offers that you can drop. Sporting events. If you have men who are the buyers of your product, you should be at a sporting event. You should be at a convention where they're hanging out. So you need to know where your buyers are, and you can drive the sales conversion. Usually, once you know the audience, it's easy to kind of have a right handshake. New markets and accounts. If these are like big, huge accounts that you want to acquire, usually it's sporting events, executive briefings, dinners. Those are the sales go-to-market activities you can do because it takes work. Everything here will take 3 months to go plan and execute. So you plan a 1 quarter prior, and then you execute for the 3 months, you finish it, and then you come back. So you're always in a planning phase for the next quarter, and then you're also executing your go-to-market. So that's kind of how you need to think about your go-to-market. Is that helpful? Was this value for you? Should any of these columns take priority? Absolutely not, Janine. The way I would look at it really depends upon your go-to-market plan. If you're new to the ecosystem, I always say invest in brand building first, use a founder-led strategy, and then make sure you have an offer on your website. It just kind of gives you a very good way of going it. But if you have, let's say you are driving anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 on a monthly basis through the founder-led, and you want to get to the next level, you probably want to do events and workshop as a consistent engine that drives you. Like even the FFCP, you're doing the workshops, right? You're driving the demand for people to have access to the funding. Same model, right? It's very simple. You may also do a pitch challenge, or you can participate in a pitch challenge, or you can drive an award ceremony or participate in award. Really, there are like hundreds and hundreds of ideas there, but we have curated like 40 plus ideas based on every customer who sits with me. I say, okay, what exactly are you trying to do? And let's see if we can put something, and they'll say, we only have $5,000. Then you say, okay, for $5,000, what can you do? And how much headcount do you have who can execute it? So those are the kind of conversation, okay? Now let's go with an example to kind of put all the things. This is a founder selling a fintech SaaS solution for a B2B customer. Any tech companies here in the ecosystem, say yes. So I know, yes, put a chat. Any tech company in the ecosystem. Every company should be a tech company, in my opinion, right now. Because AI is here, so you should be driving that. So anyway, if you're not, then here's how a fintech SaaS company, they want to build a B2B customer. So let's say they are looking for an event. So from a Women in Cloud perspective, we have is a ESG Digital Summit focusing on a lot of the fintech and AI solution. So they say, we'll come and do sponsor a 20K for your event, really focusing on brand awareness of our brand. As part of the campaign components, we want to speak. What is the new way for people to manage finances? Inviting customers to be part of the ESG event because they are the customers, and a playbook sharing. There's maybe a playbook they want to share, and then there is a marketplace offer that they want to make it accessible. And this is like a co-sell motion with Microsoft around the Azure AI, and they want to drive 25 MQLs and 5 SQLs, and same thing, forecast 50. So it's kind of like 5 to 1 is your ROI. So that's kind of the first idea. The second one is they want to do a demand gen. You can still work with the community and say, let's do 3 cloud CXO series because we want to connect with the C-level executives. and it's a 30K investment I have, and we want to really do a role model campaign showcasing all the C-level leaders. There's a marketplace offer, and maybe you want to do an executive dinner with them. So that's another motion, because those things are already happening with Women in Cloud. You just come in and say, we have the funding, can you help us execute the go-to-market? And that's the power of working with communities, because now you don't have to really hire a whole go-to-market team, because the community is the go-to-market engine. They have the resources, they have the infrastructure, they have the list, they will help you get to you faster. And that's how we do it when we need to drive approaches to reach out to newer markets and newer things. Just partner with the community, and it's more reasonable from that standpoint. Okay. Anything that's helpful before? MDF is marketing development fund. So Cheryl, if you're working with bigger brands, let's say, tell me a product name. What's your product that you do? Or you can also unmute yourself. What's your product? So we'll do some hot seat. Okay. So Cheryl, what's your product? What do you do? Marketing communication services. Okay. So if you are doing that, and public relationship and website design, which industry? Technology? Is it manufacturing? Is it? Janine, can we unmute her so she can come on?
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
I was typing away. Yeah, hi. So my company provides communication services to government agencies and corporations that are designed to connect and communicate with marginalized, diverse audiences. And our differentiator is that we help organizations avoid cultural communication failures.
Okay, so give me a name of the company that you work with, like in your industry, which is like the big brand that stands out, like number one in the, like in the tech industry, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon stands out as like the hyperscaler. Who's that hyperscaler in your ecosystem?
So in my ecosystem, it would be IPG, Interpublic Group. So that's a multinational conglomerate. It would also be the Edelmans, the IPGs, and those types of larger agencies.
Got it. So you go to Edelman and you say do you have marketing development funds for doing specific campaign for marginalized communities? They'll say, yes, I think the money is sitting in a sustainability group. So you go and find out. You say, okay, can we create a specific campaign for doing XYZ with XYZ company? Let's say someone who wants to work with Edelman, and you have a customer who wants to use, you bring these two together. Edelman pays for the dollars, and this company pays for the content, and you are actually executing the work in the market. So in the technology sector, the marketing development funds usually come from hyperscalers like Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. And then a founder would say, I'm going to go to market to win a financial or financial services company, let's say Wells Fargo, for example. I'm going to acquire, and they'll say, okay, since you're doing it, you're going to go market in fintech, you're doing workshops, we'll give you $20,000. And we want to be a joint webinar partner of yours. We need a speaking opportunity to be in that conversation. That's how the MDF is created. So you have the investor dollars and you have the hyperscaler dollars that comes together.
Got it. So almost as a sponsorship in a sense, where they would come in and provide funding, and then from that, those dollars, they get opportunities that are identified in the campaign component.
Yes, sponsorship doesn't have outcome, MDF has outcomes. So MDF, you always have to give outcomes of what you created. It is part of the agreement that you have to sign. When it comes to sponsorship, you can do anything. They don't care. It's basically a write-off on the line item.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful.
Okay, that's one. Since I did not see any tech people, I'm not going to share the rest of the slides. So I'm going to open it up for the next 15 minutes for you to ask me questions. Is there anything that resonated, any takeaways you took away today, any action you're going to take based on what you learned? Just raise your hand so we can unmute you so you can come on the stage.
Hi, while we're pulling people off mute, I'll just share, I really liked how you broke down kind of those three pieces in terms of increasing the brand visibility, the predictable deal flow, and the sales conversion as kind of those main overarching for, investor consideration. I thought that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is me again. I figured I'd come off camera, right? Who wants to talk to a picture? So thank you for this. I guess my question would be, this is very complicated to create, right? So it's simple to look at, but it takes time to pull it all together. I know you said about a week or so for the first document that we were looking at. I can't think of the name of it when someone said we have a CAPE statement, but that's a little bit difficult. My question is, how much time do you think it would take to really create something actionable? And then my second question is, are you available to help me?
Yes, Cheryl, I would love to help you because I'm always looking for marketing and communication services company to work with us. Absolutely. With regards to creating a go-to-market, I always say is the first crank at it usually takes I would say 2 to 4 weeks to get it right. After that, it's really editing and changing because you get a taste of it. I was like, oh, that's how it is done. Oh, that's the infrastructure. Most of the companies have their HubSpots and Hootsuites and stuff, but what they don't have is a go-to-market system of how you manage all the requests around go-to-market. How do you manage all the activities around the go-to-market? So like we use Airtable as an infrastructure, and we have configured that Airtable infrastructure as a go-to-market system for our organization. So anytime, anywhere we go, we are still able to work. And even in the remote place, we are working and we have different roles identified to execute different things. So every day in a quarter, not everybody is busy, but everybody is doing what they need to do. And it really doesn't create a lot of chaos and confusion. And you're buying back a lot of time because you're so clear in executing. Okay.
Hi, my name is Farida. I own a real estate company in New Jersey, and my apologies, I had to step away because I'm at work. But did you address how do we find investors? How do we put ourselves in front of them and make ourselves, known that we are seeking their
I
investment?
would say is, Janine, can I put you as a point of contact? So I would say is very simple. Go to a family member and ask for $10,000 for your idea and see if they give it to you. And if they're asking you about go-to-market, then if they're not asking you about go-to-market, they're not a right investor. But go to someone and say, hey, I'm looking for, this is an idea, I'm looking for $100,000. Can I come and pitch? And I want to get your feedback on the go-to-market and see if they're going to take the meeting, because you're asking for their opinion. You're not asking for the money, but you're asking for their opinion. You should be able to get the answers very quickly.
And Chai, we also have some resources available online. So we'll be sure to include those links in the follow-up email. And it's really, financial resources all over the country, different levels of revenue, so that should be a good starting place as well.
Awesome, awesome.
And Gloria, I feel like you might have had your hand raised. Feel free to ask.
Yes, actually, I was trying to understand the MDF thing because I also have a nonprofit organization, and we were able to put out a go-to-market kind of thing, requesting for funding. And what Chai explained was exactly what we put in our presentation, and we got the fund. So I was now saying, so when she talked about the MDF, I was now saying, can I do that with my own regular business? You know, what I do, I mean, regularly, apart from the nonprofit. Can I borrow that idea? You know, fantastic presentation at the beginning was, I mean, that thing was just exactly what we wrote down, and we got what we wanted for in terms of. So I think what I just want to say, I appreciate the knowledge. It works because we tested it like 3 weeks ago, and we were called in this week saying we got it. So for the nonprofit, but I've not tried it with with my regular thing I do, staffing. But then I want to appreciate Chai for immense. I think the strategy do work because it worked for me as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that one. I would say is, if you're getting the money will come to you. If you have a good go-to-market and you're creating the right offer and you have a solution that solves the problem for customer. That's the go-to-market is usually the hard part of the business. And that's where majority of the business owners are not trained to do go-to-market effectively. They'll say, oh, you need to have the 4 Ps and you need to have the 5, 6, whatever those things are. But if you think about go-to-market, it's very simple. It's if you focus on brand building, demand generation, and sales conversion, and you drive to a precision, you're good. You don't need to do too much. And the more money you comes, you just keep pouring more and more, double down on everything that's working, and you will be fine. And that's my philosophy. I've done go-to-market for years. And when someone says you don't get stressed out about running a business, and I'm like, I don't, because I know exactly the sockets and I know what it takes to do that. Some takes time, some doesn't. Especially new things, you have to create the right go-to-market kit, the bill of materials, the content, the copy, the creative. That's what takes a lot of time. But once you know the structure of how it's done, it's pretty easy. You can replicate very well. Cool. So we are 8 minutes away to 12. So I want to ask you is, what were your takeaways, and what is one action will you take today to really build your go-to-market, to really accelerate the value? Because if you do it right, you will be, the reason why you exist actually becomes valid, right? Because you're solving the problem in the ecosystem, and you will be closer to your customer faster than you even imagined. So please take that one, because we want your solution to be found by the customer they need it. Absolutely, Gloria, apply to your profit business. Same thing applies, nonprofit, projects, anything that you're doing, always have a go-to-market plan. Okay, the last question I have, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 means it was amazing, I learned something. 1 means, oh my God, this was the worst session. Let me know, where do I stand? I want to get your feedback because I want to improve myself too. Thank you, Gloria. You made my day. Janine, thank you for giving me the chance. Cheryl, develop a draft go-to-market by end of month, and Cheryl, send it to me. I will review it for you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I scored today. I got 4.0. Well, with that, have a great afternoon and a weekend. Enjoy. We are here. Reach out to me in LinkedIn. And we are here as a community to serve you. Come and meet with Women in Cloud ecosystem. We are all tech founders. We are 100,000 people in the entire world in 65 countries. Come and hang out with us. We would love to see you. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you. Chai will be sure to include your LinkedIn in that follow-up email as well. So all the resources will be there for a one-stop shop for all of today's attendees. So
Awesome.
Excited to have you all. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.